Go, keep going. Yeah, I was just...
As the trigger man is seen activating a remote detonator perfectly synchronized with the explosion.
Counting game violence.
Literally at the exact same time as the gunshot noise. So this pretty much convinced me that this theory is quite compelling and needs to be seriously investigated.
Counting game violence. Mormons have more kids than they can afford.
Here you have the shooter signaling to someone else saying, 5 minutes until the shot. And look carefully who is watching the signal. Watch again.
I think it's time for Mormons.
Here the man in the blue shirt turns on his video glasses. I only know this because I have the same glasses. A minute later, he signals 4-minute mark.
This country.
Here he looks over to see, then fixes the detonator on his left shoulder bicep. Look carefully at the bulge on his shoulder. The assassin now points his watch outwards and tells everyone to watch the time. Then a few minutes later, we know what happened.
Where are my friends? That question is no longer just a whisper. It's a roar echoing across America. Millions are asking it as the shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk continues to unfold. The FBI says the case is closed. The media says Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. But the truth? It's a tangled web of contradictions, sealed files, and evidence gaps so glaring even ordinary citizens on the internet. Reddit investigators, TikTok analysts, and Twitter sleuths have uncovered more than the FBI has ever admitted. But there's something even darker than the lies. The silence. A silence louder than the gunshots that ended Charlie Kirk's life.
1014, I'm still about 15 out, but the 1G unit that's going to be up there to interview. As per FBI and FBI, we've been given clear direction not to interview, confirming negative interview until they get there.
Why are his closest friends, the very people who prayed with him, worked with him, donated to his causes, and shared his stages, not challenging the official narrative? Why aren't they demanding answers? Why are they attacking those who do ask questions, branding them as conspiracy theorists instead of standing shoulder to shoulder in pursuit of justice? And here's the question no one wants to ask. Have they been told to stay quiet, threatened, bribed, ordered to stand down? Because nothing else explains this coordinated hush from people who once claimed to love him. Before we go further, stop and think. You don't have to believe every conspiracy theory out there. You don't even have to believe Tyler Robinson is innocent. But surely you don't believe the sloppy, incomplete, inconsistent narrative the authorities are pushing. Before we dive deeper, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment below. Do you think Tyler Robinson was really the shooter, or just a decoy in a much bigger, darker cover-up? Because in the next few minutes, we're going to break open the lies, show you the evidence they don't want you to see, and ask the questions no one close to Charlie is brave enough to ask. The official story paints a neat, simple picture: Tyler Robinson, a lone gunman, arrested, charged, and presented to the public as the assassin who ended Charlie Kirk's life. Case closed, but scratch the surface of that case closed narrative and the cracks show immediately. In official reports, we're shown one firearm cataloged, tagged, and supposedly stored. But social media is flooded with pictures of the murder weapon, and they don't match. Scratches, attachments, even colors differ from image to image. Was the weapon swapped, tampered with, or staged? Audio recordings revealing more than one shot profile. Smartphones, live streams, and security mics captured the sound of the attack. Independent analysts slowed those recordings down, ran waveform studies, and found at least 2 distinct sound signatures, like 2 different weapons fired from 2 different positions. Witnesses describing a shooter closer to the crowd than Robinson's alleged spot. In sworn statements and viral videos, bystanders point in opposite directions. Some claim they heard shots from a stairwell, a balcony, or inside the room. Others insist Robinson wasn't even near the line of fire. These aren't minor discrepancies, they're foundational cracks in the story we've been told. And yet, despite all this, the FBI has refused to release high-definition surveillance footage from the venue and surrounding streets. Acoustic triangulation reports that could pinpoint exactly where the shots came from. Ballistic tests that could confirm whether the rifle shown in court even fired the fatal round. Why in a high-profile assassination, does the public know more from leaked cell phone videos than from the agency supposedly in charge? Why do online investigators have to piece together a crime the FBI already has the tools to solve? If Tyler Robinson is guilty, releasing the evidence should make that clear beyond all doubt. If he's innocent, releasing the evidence would clear his name. So why hide it? The silence isn't just suspicious, it's a red flag that the official narrative may be nothing more than a script. What's stranger than the FBI's silence? The silence of those who knew Charlie Kirk best. Where are his so-called friends? Where are the colleagues, the donors, the faith leaders who once stood shoulder to shoulder with him? Why aren't they on every platform demanding transparency? Why aren't they pressing for the release of the evidence that could prove once and for all who killed him? Instead, what do we see? Not outrage, not protests, not calls for accountability. We see attacks from people who claim to have loved him against anyone daring to ask the hard questions. This isn't grief. This isn't shock. It feels like something far darker, a stand-down order. Like they've been told, or threatened, to keep quiet. To play along with the script. To pretend that the official story is airtight when they know it's riddled with holes. And here's the question no one wants to answer. If his closest allies won't fight for him, what does that say? If the very people who benefited from his platform, his voice, his influence, are now silent, what are they hiding, or what are they afraid of? A true friend doesn't vanish when the bullets stop. A true brother doesn't walk away when the truth becomes inconvenient. As Proverbs 17 declares, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. If they really loved Charlie, if they really stood with him in life, why are they so silent in his death? What are they protecting, his legacy, or themselves? Because silence in the face of injustice isn't loyalty, it's complicity. If silence is suspicious, then what about the people who were closest to Charlie on the day he was assassinated? His security team, think about it. A man as high-profile, controversial, and targeted as Charlie Kirk doesn't walk into a public venue without elite protection. These aren't rookies. These are trained professionals, ex-military, ex-intelligence, men who know how to scan a crowd, anticipate danger, and neutralize threats before they happen. So how does a gunman, allegedly Tyler Robinson, positioned far away, get a clean shot? How does the so-called assassin fire without being intercepted? Why were there no countermeasures, no alarms, no immediate takedown? Here's where it gets darker. Leaked reports suggest members of Charlie's security detail had prior connections to Israel and foreign contractors. Coincidence? Or does it hint at deeper international entanglements that go far beyond a lone gunman narrative? And let's not ignore the timing. Just hours after the assassination, several security personnel reportedly vanished from public record. Their social media wiped, their names scrubbed from rosters. Why would innocent bodyguards suddenly disappear if they weren't involved? Some online investigators believe the security perimeter was deliberately weakened, that Charlie was maneuvered into a vulnerable position, and that the gunshot, or gunshots, came from inside the secured zone. If that's true, then the assassination wasn't just an act of random violence, it was an inside job. And here's the chilling part. The very people sworn to protect him may have been the ones ensuring his death. But the questions don't stop with the security team. Because if they were compromised, who ordered the hit? Who benefits from Charlie's death? And why is the FBI burying the evidence that could expose all of it? If Charlie Kirk's own security was compromised, then the next question is simple. Who benefits from his death? Because assassinations are never random, they are calculated moves with winners and losers. Let's break this down. Political rivals stood to gain. Charlie was a powerful voice, mobilizing thousands, pulling young voters, and reshaping conversations that threatened entrenched elites. His removal silences that influence. Financial beneficiaries also emerge. Millions in donations, contracts, and sponsorships now hang in limbo. Who controls that flow now? Who profits from the vacuum left behind? And then there's the international angle. Leaks suggest some of Charlie's security team had ties to Israel and foreign contractors. If true, then we're no longer talking about just a US case, it's a global operation. And here's where it gets darker. Charlie wasn't just a figurehead, he was a gatekeeper. He had access to names, money trails, and private communications that could have exposed corruption at the highest levels. So ask yourself, if you're a politician, a corporation, or even a foreign agency who stood to lose everything from Charlie speaking out, would you have motive to silence him? The FBI's silence, the redacted court documents, the missing surveillance tapes, it all starts to look less like incompetence and more like protection. Protection not for the people, but for those who ordered the hit. And that brings us to the most chilling question of all. Was Charlie Kirk assassinated because of what he knew, while the FBI hides behind redactions and national security excuses? Frame-by-frame video analysis showing shadows, echoes, and crowd reactions that don't line up with the FBI timeline. Side-by-side rifle comparisons, proving there isn't just one weapon in evidence, but multiple rifles with mismatched features. Acoustic breakdowns from cell phone recordings, where users highlight two distinct sound profiles, pointing to more than one possible shooter. Meanwhile, the FBI, silence. No release of the acoustic triangulation data, no high-definition surveillance tapes, no ballistic transparency, just sealed files, and trust us. But here's the irony, in trying to control the narrative, they've only made the case for the skeptics stronger. Because every time citizens uncover something that contradicts the FBI's version, it proves one thing: the truth is being hidden. And let's be real, what excuse does the most powerful federal agency in the world have? None. Unless, of course, they're not trying to solve the case, they're trying to bury it. And that leads to a chilling realization: the real investigation isn't happening inside government offices, it's happening in real time, and it's leaving the official story in shambles. Now we arrive at the most disturbing possibility of all. Tyler Robinson was never the shooter, he was the decoy. Think about it. Every inconsistency in this case points in the same direction. The rifles don't match. The audio suggests multiple shooters. The FBI hides evidence instead of presenting it. And Charlie Kirk's closest friends stay silent. It all adds up to one chilling conclusion. Robinson may have been set up to take the fall, while the real assassin walks free. Eyewitness testimonies, some leaked, some ignored, show gaps in Tyler's timeline. Reports even suggest he wasn't in the critical position when the fatal shot rang out. Yet he's the one we're told to blame. Why? Because the public demands a face, a name, a villain. And in every cover-up throughout history, from JFK to RFK to other political assassinations, there's always a scapegoat. Someone to absorb the outrage, while the true perpetrators remain untouchable. And here's where the decoy theory cuts the deepest. If Tyler Robinson was a setup, then this assassination wasn't random. It was planned, organized, and executed with precision. And those who benefit from Charlie's silence, the political rivals, the hidden power brokers, even those closest to him, may have had far more to gain than we realize. So ask yourself, who benefits from Robinson being labeled the shooter? Who gains by silencing Charlie Kirk forever? And who has the power to make both the FBI and his so-called friends stand down? Because if Robinson is the decoy, the real killer isn't just still out there, he's protected. So here we are, after all the contradictions, the sealed files, the mismatched rifles, and the deafening silence from those who should be demanding answers, one question remains. Was Tyler Robinson really the assassin, or just the perfect decoy in a cover-up bigger than any of us imagined? The FBI won't release the truth. The media won't ask the hard questions. And Charlie Kirk's closest allies, they've gone completely silent. Almost like someone told them to stand down. But here's the thing. Truth has a way of surfacing, and it won't come from inside government offices. It will come from us, the people who refuse to accept lies, the digital investigators, the ones who demand answers. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Tyler Robinson was the shooter, or was he set up as a decoy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. If you believe the public deserves the truth about Charlie Kirk's assassination, smash that like button, share this video everywhere, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on. Because this isn't over. More leaks are coming. More cracks in the official story will break wide open. And when they do, you'll want to be here, seeing the truth unfold in real time. The case isn't closed, it's just beginning.